When you hear the name Meghalaya, you immediately think of the land of clouds. It is a place defined by pristine forests, winding rivers, and the kind of lush green landscapes that get plastered all over tourist postcards. But in a specific corner of this state, that postcard image is being erased. Right now, a thick, sticky layer of industrial soot coats every leaf, every branch, and every natural surface in sight. If you look at the annual list of India's most polluted cities, you expect to find the usual suspects: places with massive urban sprawl and heavy traffic like Ghaziabad, Noida, and New Delhi. This chart shows the extreme PM 2.5 levels of a town called Barnihat compared against global safety standards. The WHO's recommended limit is 5. Barnihat's average was 128, more than 25 times the safe threshold, officially making it the most polluted city in the country. The strange part is, this indigenous village isn't choking on the runoff from an unplanned megacity or unregulated coal mines. Instead, this valley is being buried under the byproduct of modern industrial plants that have only appeared in the last few years. Across the country, there is a massive, heavily subsidized push to move away from traditional fossil fuels and toward renewable green energy solutions. Yet the very factories producing one of those major green alternatives, ethanol fuel, are concentrated right here, dumping their emissions directly into the local environment. The irony is that a strategy designed to reduce national emissions is now concentrating that same pollution into a single inescapable pocket of forest. To understand how this happened, we have to look at neighboring Assam, specifically the massive industrial footprint of Guwahati. To keep heavy industry out of Guwahati, companies shifted operations 20 kilometers across the state line into Barnihat. The problem is the terrain. Barnihat sits in a bowl-shaped valley. Surrounding hills trap emissions from 80 localized factories, preventing massive amounts of smoke from clearing. A political loophole pushed the industries out of sight, and the natural geography ensured the resulting toxic cloud could never escape. The people living inside that cloud are largely from the Garo and Khasi tribes, a matriarchal society that historically relied on homegrown agriculture. Recently, the simple act of cooking a meal has become a multi-step process. Families now have to wash their homegrown vegetables 3 or 4 times, physically scrubbing the black grime off every leaf before it's safe to eat. This trend chart shows official government health data for the area, and the physical toll is steep. Between 2022 and 2024, the number of local residents seeking treatment for respiratory issues spiked from 2,082 to 3,681, a 77% increase in just 2 years. Locals report a surge in fatal illnesses, like throat cancer, becoming casual parts of daily conversation. And beneath the smoke, a constant, buzzing mechanical drone from the nearby plants has entirely replaced the natural sounds of the forest. The rapid industrial expansion driving the region's economy is actively being subsidized by the health of the indigenous groups forced to live next to it. The most frustrating part of this localized disaster is what these factories are actually producing. Many are manufacturing ethanol, a biofuel that the government mandates blending at 20% into standard petrol to cut down on vehicle emissions. While urban drivers burn cleaner fuel, the factories producing that ethanol dump toxic waste into Barnihat's rivers and pump thick black smoke into the sky around the clock. When confronted on camera about this immediate environmental destruction, plant operators default to hostility, confiscating equipment and denying responsibility for the sickening air just outside their gates. Greenwashing allows corporations to offshore their heavy pollution to marginalized, politically invisible areas, all under the protective banner of environmental progress. Fixing this requires enforcement, but Barnihat is caught in a jurisdictional dead zone. The pollution originates from industries serving Assam, but the victims breathe the air in Meghalaya. Politicians occasionally write letters, announce joint committees, and issue a few fines. But once the immediate news cycle fades, the factories keep running, and no long-term action plan ever materializes. State borders serve as the perfect corporate shield. Toxic smoke crosses the line freely, while legal accountability gets indefinitely trapped in bureaucratic red tape on the other side. National reports might show rising GDP and progress toward green targets, but on the ground, the very air, water, and quiet that defined this village have been sacrificed to reach those figures. The heaviest price is paid by the kids growing up here, playing in an unnatural, suffocating haze every single afternoon after school. Economic expansion is meaningless if it lacks foundational sustainability. Trading a global carbon problem for a hyper-local toxic wasteland is not a solution. Real progress has to make human life better, not worse. If you want to support investigations like this one, uncovering the hidden costs of modern development, hit subscribe and join our channel.